your authority figure issues isn't the problem. It's projecting that unwise perspective onto other people because your mother or your father wasn't wise. Just because you had a mom or a dad who maybe didn't study anything, who maybe didn't have emotional intelligence, who maybe didn't understand the ins and outs of things, doesn't mean every parent or every authority figure is going to be like them. And quite often, yeah, there maybe is a large percentage of people on planet Earth right now that don't understand stuff, but it's not as big as the people who do. I do think a majority of the world gives a fuck. That's just I know it's a crazy opinion to have, but I do think the majority of the world gives a fuck, even if it's only 51% to 49%, okay? And by give a fuck, I mean wants to help, okay? Wants to do better. And if that's the case, this is just my opinion, but if that's the case, just stay with me for a second here, then they want to be of service. And so they're going to try to learn a skill, or they're going to try to do something that helps other people out, even if it's just, making other people laugh, which is an underrated skill, by the way. It's one of the best ways to heal anything, all right? And so if that's the case, then there are billions of people on planet Earth right now that you can go to for advice. Billions of people on planet Earth right now that are maybe proficient at a skill that you can learn from them. Billions of people on this earth right now that know something you don't. And I can guarantee that one at least. And so how can you anchor yourself into a deeper truth that authority figures, in other words, parents, teachers, professors, doctors, we think of counselors, medical professionals in general, just people in general that you'd have to rely on for something, my friend, that there maybe are more intelligent people out there than your mom or your dad. And that there's nothing wrong with that. And you don't have to sit here and be upset because you didn't have them as your mom and your dad. You don't have to project a lack of studies onto other people just because you may be jealous that you didn't get to have that as your upbringing. So having this said, where are you being called to ask for help? Where are you being called to rely on people? And this is not just authority figures, this is trusting people in general. All right, that's what it gets to. It's the root of it, it's trusting. Where are you being called to trust something? I'm not saying trust big ass things in this world, big ass companies or big ass fucking, no, systems, no. But people, bitch, people. Where can you trust a person again? And look them dead in the eye and actually, you know what? This person actually gives a fuck about what they're doing. I'm gonna fucking believe in them. And I'm gonna listen to them. Because when the world is happening the way it is right now, it can be very easy to just not fucking want to listen to anybody. But that created the issue in the first place. It was never about turning off your ears. It was never about saying, everyone shut up, my opinion's the only one that matters. It was about how can you be more discerning and still continuously, despite the heartache, engage with people to be able to keep that heart open and keep your mind learning in order to keep evolving. Because part of the big issue on Earth right now, I feel, is a lack of evolution due to the fear of confronting the lack of information we all have, right? We have the world at our fingertips, being able to look up anything and everything in the world, but with so much information out there, we don't know what is true. You're not gonna learn from watching 1,000 different YouTubers talk about the same thing. It's just not gonna get you where you wanna go. You are gonna learn from real life experiences, one-on-one work with people, one-on-one sitting down, phone calls, whatever it may be, Zoom calls even. If you don't wanna go out in person, that's fine. You're gonna learn from having a real fucking experience with it. That's how you're gonna know, because you're gonna feel it. And that's where you work on your intuition too. Because your intuition has everything to do with this. And you can't base your intuition isn't really flared up in any way from a YouTube video. It's just not. But it is tuned in the presence of people. It is tuned in rooms, It is tuned in when you go to a country. You understand? The difference between an online experience and an in-person experience, or a one-on-one experience, right? That's why I go live on here a lot. The difference between that and just like a random video you see, there's a lot to work with here, a lot of potential to work with here with the internet at the fingertips of our hands. We can build groups. We can go to places that we've never even knew existed before. There's opportunities like never before, my friend. All right? But that can create, especially with a rising an awareness of neurodivergence, that can create option overwhelm. And when you have option overwhelm, specifically in friendships or like authority figures, if you're choosing like a therapist or something is a good example, or option overwhelm in anything that has to do with another human being and you needing that in your life because it's a basic human need in case we forgot, and you will never be fulfilled if you do not have people in your life. Unfortunately. Trust me, I get it. You have to understand that option overwhelm is not a good enough excuse. It is a reason to take a break. It is a reason to pause. It is a reason to say this is hard, but it's not a good enough excuse, because guess what? A lack of options is a good enough reason. So the opposite can't be. And so if we do have everything at our fingertips, we have the ability to start maybe just a fucking book club. We have the ability to do research on, sitting down and journaling with ourselves. What kind of therapist would I want? We have the ability to research medical professionals before making them our primary care doctor. If we have that ability to do these things, we really need to reprocess a little bit on our privilege nowadays with the internet. All right? Thinking of I've just been doing a lot of research on the old ages, homie. Somebody gets a fucking cut or scrape and they are out. It wasn't that long ago. It really wasn't that long ago. And so there's can be a lot of gratitude instead of option overwhelm. There could be a lot more of that, and I know it's not easy. It's way, 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 way easier said than done, but hey, it's an option too. And I want that for you, and I want that for me, and I want that for more of us, to just really get into the center of things of like, yeah, the world's not the best right now, but I've never been able to access so many books about herbs. Yeah, the world's not the best right now, but I've never been able to reach so many people across the entire planet and make an impact. So where can we find our center in the midst of the chaos? Where can we say, the sun will come back out again, and instead of waiting for it, creating it? We gotta let ourselves honor what's coming up and find alchemy in the process. Find alchemy. I think that alchemy can be happen through singing, dancing, making music, playing, painting, creating art of any sorts. I think alchemy can happen from crying, shaking, working out, going on a run, stretching, talking to a friend, journaling. I think that alchemy can happen from so many things. Find what makes you happy today. You can choose a different thing every day. It's usually something different for the most part for most of us, okay? Find your way to alchemize what the universe knows you have the ability to alchemize, but maybe society tells you you don't. Like overwhelm. If you experience like anxiety, that's what I mean by overwhelm, right? Find your way and know that your timeline is enough. However long it takes is enough. We just want you to know it's an option. Because if you're going to think there's too many options, at least consider the fact that there's an option to not feel overwhelmed. Okay? That's an option for you too. And it usually starts with gratitude for the fact that someone like you even exists. Okay? I love you. You got this. Keep going.